Hello, grade 9s. Grade 9s, are you out there?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'm so sorry for inconveniences there that has been caused. It seems my laptop just frozen. But were you able to hear what I was talking about before I reconnected? Hello?
Yes, sir.
You were able to hear what I was talking about in the previous session?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so it means I'm just going to continue from where I left. Let me then again share a screen with you. Right, so it's like I corrected this point here. Oh, sorry, let me then just click something here. All right, so I corrected here to say oxygen is in group 16, not 6, right? This is a mistake that I did yesterday. So I think you heard my explanation on why we are saying oxygen is in group 16, right? So far, so good. May I proceed? All right, there's silence there. I don't know whether you are hearing me or not, right? Then let me then resume from number, yesterday we were on 9.6, 9.5, if I'm not mistaken, right? So on 9.5, it's like we answered the question. The question was the element forms an oxide when it reacts with oxygen. What is the name of the oxide that formed? Now, so I was saying here, it depends now on our answer on 9.1, right? So if our 9.1 was carbon, it then means then that the carbon plus oxygen, it forms what? Carbon dioxide, right? Then we also said if your answer 9.1 was sulfur, it means then that the oxide that is going to be formed will be sulfur dioxide. And I said there is also a compound known as sulfur trioxide as well. So this is when oxygen react with sulfur, right? So we've got two types of compounds that can be formed, especially when it comes to sulfur. Then if your answer 9.1 was magnesium, then it means then that magnesium plus oxygen forms magnesium oxide. So any of those compounds is correct. And like I said earlier on, it depends on your answer, which is on what? 9.1, right? Then 9.6. If there's a question, please, you have to unmute yourself, then you can ask, right? The 9.6. when the oxide is mixed with water, what will the pH of the solution be? Now, again, we are going back to our 9.5, right? So if I did not write carbon dioxide here, allow me to just add it as one of our possible solution, which means it's carbon dioxide, or it can form what? Carbon monoxide. Right. So this is in line with, say, for example, someone might say the answer here, 9.1, it's what? Carbon. Which means the name there could be carbon. I'm putting it in because we are talking about it. If it is carbon, it means it's what? The number of protons will be 6. That's for carbon. Then the element, if it is carbon, carbon is non-metal. Right. Now, so when this oxygen or this oxide is mixed with water, what will the pH of the solution be? Now, if it is mixed up with water, say it's sulfur dioxide, which is mixed up with water, then it forms what we call sulfuric acid. So the sulfuric acid is pH 1. This is an acid, which is a strong acid, is having pH 1. Then again, if the answer was magnesium oxide or 9.5, the magnesium oxide, when it reacts with water, it forms a base, right? So that's an alkaline, right? Which means it is of pH what? 14. That's an alkaline or that's a base, so it forms an alkaline, which is of what? Which is of sorry, let me then just admit this. Fine. So if it is magnesium, remember magnesium, it's metal. So when it reacts with oxygen, it forms a metal oxide, and metal oxides are bases or alkalines when it is mixed up with water. So it then means then that it will react with water and form an alkaline. That's for magnesium. So the pH there will be 14. That's a strong word base. Then if it is carbon, the carbon will form, that's carbonic acid. It will form carbonic acid. So for carbonic acid, that's the carbon dioxide will then have a pH. Remember, it is what? Non-metallic. So since it is non-metallic, it will form what? An acid. An acid has got pH what? 1. So all acids will be having pH 1. That's for acids. If it is metal, it will have a pH 14 because it's a base or it's an alkaline. All right. Are there any questions here? Before we move on to the next question on matter and material as well. No questions. Right. The second part, or the third question on matter and material, study the symbol 13AL27 and use the periodic table provided to answer the questions below. Right. Then in this case, name the element that this symbol represents. Right. If you check again, in this case here, the symbol using the periodic table. Let me then quickly go on to the periodic table. Right, there is our periodic table. We are shown there that it's the material that we are given. It's just here where my highlighter is. Right, it's 13AL27. 13AL27. It is in group number 13. It's group 13. That's where it is, right? And you can see there it's group 13. You have to go to 13 what? That's the atomic number. It's 13. That's the group, right? And the period, it's period number 3. That's period number 3. So what is the name of this element? The name there is aluminium. That's the name of the element, right? It has got 13 electrons, right? Which means its atomic number is what? 13. Then the mass number is 27. That's the mass number, right? So how many protons are there? Remember, the number of protons is exactly the same number of the atomic number, or which is equal to the number of electrons in that atom. So it's 13 is the atomic number. That's 13 electrons. That's 13 protons, right? That's the atomic number. It's the same number of electrons. It's the same number of protons, right? Now, let me then go back to the question. Right, this is a reminder that our period is about to be over. However, let's try and move. Right, so name the element that this symbol represents. It's aluminium, right? From the periodic table, we've seen that it's aluminium, right? So that's aluminium. Then 8.2, give the element's mass number, right? The mass number is always at the bottom, right? So, and please note that the mass number is always greater than the atomic number. If it is written vice versa way, like what we have seen in the question above, then please try and figure out what it is, right? Otherwise, any element has got the atomic number, which is smaller than the mass number, right? So please note that. So given the element, give the element's mass number, which is 27. That's the one at the bottom here. Then give the element's atomic number, is right at the top, which is 18. Then give the periodic number where the element is found. Then again here, allow me to correct it here. I wrote 3 there instead of what? 18, right? It is, sorry. No, it's period. Period is fine. Period is fine. That's period is what? 3. Period is 3. Otherwise, we are saying it is in row number 3. It is row number 3. That's aluminium. That's where it is, right? But the group is 13, right? Then for what is this substance commonly used, right? So I've just written some answers here, right? Mainly it's used on some vehicle parts. Please note it's some vehicle parts, not all vehicle parts, right? Then especially on aeroplanes, right? That's where aluminium is used. Then it's also used to make containers, some window frames, foil. That's the aluminium foil. I think you are quite familiar to the foil that I'm talking about. Then some kitchen utensils. The thing is, aluminium is so light as compared to other metals, right? So that's where it can be used. So in that case, we just wanted one, right? Then moving on to the next question. Draw a labeled atomic structure to represent the element in your answer to question 8.1. Again, we must know our periodic table, right? Allow me to go back again to the periodic table and explain something there, right? Fortunately, we are also seeing the structure there. Right, remember we said aluminium, it is in group number 13, right at the top here. That's 13, that's group number 13, which means there are 13 electrons, right? Which also means that there are 13 protons, right? Now, before you draw it, you must know how many orbiting shells are there, right? How many shells are there, right? So it is in period number 3. So since it is in period number 3, it means there are 3 circles around the nucleus. That's 1, then second one 2, then what? 3, right? So there are 3 circles around the nucleus, which means there are 3 shells around the nucleus of what? Aluminium, because it is in period number 3. Now, how many electrons are there in the innermost shell? When we say the innermost shell, that's the shell around the nucleus. There are always 2, right? It is with maximum of 2 electrons, right? Why are we saying there's a maximum of 2, right? I think you can see in your periodic table here, right at this end, we have got helium. Helium has got 2, right? So the innermost shell has a maximum of 2 electrons on it. Then the second shell, right? The second shell, right? What is the maximum number of electrons that can be taken by the second shell in an atom, right? This is the period number 2. So the maximum here will be what? 8. Why are we saying 8? Because it's like 2 are already in, right? Plus 8 gives us 10. So we have here, right, where we've got this element, it has got 10, but the inner one has got what? 2. So this is the maximum number of electrons that are there in the innermost shell. It's 2. Then the second shell from inside, it has got 8 to make a total of what? 10 electrons. Then this is now the third shell, right? But we are not onto this last element. Our aluminium is just on group 13, right? So we are now just going to say, okay, the second shell has got total of 10. Then it means we've got 3 electrons, right? So 3 electrons now to make it 13. 10 plus what? 3. So it then means then that second shell has got 10. Then the 3 are going to be in the outermost shell of our atomic structure of aluminium to make it what? 13. So if we've got 2, then plus 8 in the second shell, that's 10. Plus 3, it becomes what? 13. So please try level best to make sure that you understand how these structures are drawn, right? And remember, this diagram that we are looking at is what we refer to as the Bohr's diagram. I emphasized that yesterday, that whenever you are doing the structure of an atom, you must make sure that you use the Bohr's diagram, right? So that's how we come to draw the diagram of an atomic structure. All right. Then let me move on. Then 8.7 says use the symbol of elements to write formula for the following compounds, right? So it means we must as well know the symbols of elements, right? Then here we are told here 8.7.1, ammonia with a ratio of 1 carbon atom to 3 hydrogen atoms. Now, if you still remember on compounds, we said whenever a compound is formed, there is a fixed ratio in which elements react to form an element. There is a fixed ratio in which elements react to form compounds. So in this case here, we are informed here that the ratio of 1 carbon atom to 3 hydrogen atoms, right? Now, in this case, it means we are having what? 1 carbon and 3 hydrogen. 3 hydrogen, here I wrote 4, it's supposed to be what? 3. Let me then change it there. It's the ratio is 1:3, sorry. I just want to move this so that I can see what I want to see there. This doesn't want to. Yeah. Right. So our ratio is 1:3. So I'm deleting the 4 here. It's 1:3.